Sometimes the person who made you feel most seen is the one quietly teaching you to disappear. It never begins with shouting or cruelty. It rarely looks like what people imagine when they hear the word abuse. It begins with that sudden attention you have always wanted, with charm that feels cinematic, with someone who seems to understand you without you even speaking. They notice every small detail. They ask deep questions about your childhood dreams and your quiet fears. You feel seen in a way that feels almost magical, as if the world has finally sent you someone who gets it. That's how it begins, with warmth, excitement, and the illusion of safety. Day by day you let them in a little further. They mirror your values. They say the exact words you've always needed to hear. You start to relax, to trust, to believe that maybe this time love will last. And then, gradually, quietly, things change. It's not sudden, it's subtle. You start questioning your memory. You find yourself apologizing when you have done nothing wrong. They say you're overreacting, that you're too sensitive, that you always make things difficult. Your boundaries turn into arguments. Your emotions are labeled selfish. You begin shrinking, second-guessing every instinct in case your truth offends them. A relationship that once felt safe begins to feel like walking on eggshells. The shift is invisible to outsiders because narcissistic control rarely shouts. It whispers. The manipulation happens inside the tiny spaces between conversations, inside pauses that make you doubt yourself. People on the outside see a polished couple, charming, successful, generous at dinner parties. But behind closed doors you are calculating every sentence in fear of setting off an unpredictable storm. You stop being yourself, trading authenticity for survival, pretending everything is fine because the truth feels impossible to explain. Soon the pattern embeds itself so deeply that guilt starts to feel like love. When things go wrong, you find new ways to blame yourself. If only I were calmer, kinder, prettier, smarter, quieter. You promise to improve, to be easier, to earn the affection that keeps slipping away. But no matter how much you give, it never changes. Because it was never about love, it was about control. And waking up to that reality is painful beyond words. It breaks the illusion you built everything upon and forces you to grieve not only the person but the fantasy you believed in. Most people on the outside misunderstand this entirely. They imagine narcissistic abuse as dramatic and obvious, an endless parade of shouting and insults, yet more often it arrives wrapped in flattery or concern. They say things that sound protective at first. I am only saying this because I love you, or no one else would ever understand you like I do. What they really mean is stop questioning me. Stop existing outside my control. The cruelty is hidden inside kindness, which makes the confusion so much heavier to carry because the abuse masquerades as care. Over time, gaslighting becomes the air you breathe. They rewrite events until you question your own memory. They twist empathy into weakness until you start apologizing for existing. You live in a reality where your needs are inconveniences and their rage is always your fault. Every apology becomes proof of your dependence. Every small success a threat to their power. And still you keep hoping it will change, because believing in change feels safer than admitting the truth. Yet here is the hardest truth of all. You cannot save someone who benefits from your suffering. They do not want peace. They want control. They do not crave honesty. They crave dominance. You are not crazy. You are conditioned. Conditioned to doubt your own eyes and gut. Conditioned to think love feels like walking on glass. That conditioning is not weakness. It is a survival response. Your nervous system learned to anticipate danger, to please faster than you could think, to avoid any spark that might ignite another explosion. Escaping does not mean failure. It means your subconscious finally recognized that staying was slowly erasing you. Choosing yourself after such control is one of the bravest acts you will ever do. Healing begins with naming what happened. Narcissistic abuse is real. Emotional abuse is real. The wounds it leaves are invisible but deep. A constant hum of anxiety, nights of hypervigilance, and identity faded around the edges. Therapists call it narcissistic trauma syndrome, a mixture of confusion, depression, and exhaustion that makes ordinary life feel like running underwater. Nothing is wrong with you for feeling this way. Your body has been in defense mode for too long. You are not broken. You are reacting in the exact way a nervous system does after prolonged fear. Your first rebuilding block is safety, physical, and emotional. Your mind will tell you to go back. Trauma bonds disguise themselves as love, whispering that chaos is passion and peace is boredom. But each time you hold your boundary, each time you say no, you teach your body a new language of freedom. Boundaries, though terrifying at first, are what begin to stitch you back together. They might feel selfish, but that feeling is proof of growth. Narcissists trained you to believe your needs were burdens. In truth, your needs are sacred. They're the map back home to yourself. Therapy can help, especially trauma-informed therapy where safety is rebuilt before analysis. Journaling helps too. It drags the truth out of memory and onto paper where their voice can no longer rewrite it. Learning about narcissistic behavior helps not to obsess but to understand, so you stop blaming yourself. Knowledge is closure. It recognizes patterns for what they are, not who you are. Support groups, trusted friends, online communities, each of them helps retrain the mind to believe that connection exists outside manipulation. Rebuilding your sense of self happens slowly, piece by fragile piece, but it happens. You start remembering what real laughter feels like. You notice music again. You rediscover choices, what you like to eat, how you decorate your space, what silence sounds like when it is not punishment. People heal from this every day. They relearn trust and love without fear. It will not always hurt like it does now. Freedom starts quietly, in ordinary mornings where you notice that breathing does not require permission anymore. Begin today by writing the truth exactly as it happened. Not the version they told you, not the version you made small to survive. The real version. Put it on paper so memory stops looping like a broken record. You are not dramatic. You are not weak. You were manipulated, and now you are waking up. Then start listening to your body again. When your stomach tightens at someone's tone, believe it. When your chest eases around kindness, trust it. This is your intuition coming back online after being silenced for too long. Practice small no's. Say no without apology, without explaining, because boundaries are not negotiations. They are announcements of worth. Rebuild routines that make you feel real again. Making breakfast, walking outside, taking time with no one else's voice inside your head. Perhaps the next step is blocking them. Perhaps another is calling that one safe friend. Maybe just whispering the truth out loud for the first time. Healing is not a race. It is a series of quiet, brave choices that rebuild trust in yourself. If no one near you feels safe, remember that there are people who understand: therapists, survivors, online circles, people who speak this language of reclamation. You are not alone even if it feels that way right now. Community is the antidote to conditioning. When someone else nods quietly at your story, something inside you unclenches because recognition heals what isolation wounds. Healing is your birthright. Even when your strength feels small, it is still strength. Every small act of boundary, of honesty, of self-care rewires the narrative that was forced on you. You are breaking a generational cycle, choosing awareness over repetition, and that single choice ripples forward into every relationship that follows. You are teaching your future self, maybe even your future children, that love without respect is not love at all. If you have been through this, or are walking away right now, your story matters. Someone out there is still in the middle of their confusion, still wondering if they deserve freedom. Your words might be the light they need to begin, so share if you can. Write same if all you can manage today is a whisper. Healing travels through truth, spoken or typed, from one survivor to another until the echo of power fades and the sound of self-trust takes its place. Thank you for still being here, for reading this far, for choosing awareness over silence. What you are doing is not easy, but it is extraordinary. You are not what happened to you, you are what you are becoming. And that new version of you, honest, brave, free, is already on her way back home.